Hello students, welcome to the online lecture series of economics for class 12th arts and commerce. This is Prerna Mishra from Adarsh Education Society. Students, we are studying the first chapter of economics, that is introduction to micro and macro economics. In the last lecture we have finished the features of macroeconomics. Now in this lecture we are going to study the importance of macroeconomics. So let's see what are the importance of macroeconomics. Here we have 7 importances of macroeconomics. First, functioning of an economy. Second, economic fluctuations. Third, national income. Fourth, economic development. Fifth, performance of an economy. Sixth, study of macroeconomic variables. And the last, seventh, level of employment. Let's start with these importance of macroeconomics one by one. So the first one is functioning of an economy. Macroeconomic analysis gives us an idea of the functioning of an economic system. It helps us to understand the behavior or the pattern of aggregative variables in a large and complex economic system. So with the help of this concept, we can easily study the economic system or the functioning of the economic system. How these aggregative variables or the large variables work in this complex economic system. There are different roles of different variables, like growth theory. It deals with the problem of full utilization or increasing productive capacity in developed countries, or explains how we can achieve growth with stability. So in the same way, we have various variables that function in this economic system, and with the help of this concept or with the help of macroeconomics, we can understand this complex economic system. Let's move to the next one. Second, economic fluctuations. Macroeconomics helps to analyze the causes of fluctuations in income, output, and employment, and makes an attempt to control them or reduce their severity. So here macroeconomic analysis explains what determines the level of national income and employment, what causes fluctuations in level of income, output, and employment. Now this can be determined with the help of aggregate supply and aggregate demand. So we have to study the consumption function or the investment function or the national output. Now all these things can be studied with the help of macroeconomics. Like theory of business cycle is the part of theory of income, and this theory examines the interrelation between income and employment and also suggests the policies to solve the problems related to large variables or aggregate variables. So macroeconomic, in short, helps to understand the economic fluctuations. There will be fluctuations in the income, there will be fluctuations in the output or the employment. It cannot be stable throughout the year. So if there are fluctuations, what are the reasons behind these fluctuations and how we can control these fluctuations, how we can bring stability in the growth and the development of the economy. So this was the second importance of macroeconomics. Let's move to the third one, that is national income. Study of macroeconomics has brought forward the immense or the great importance of the study of national income and social accounts. Without a study of national income, it is not possible to formulate correct economic policies. Yes, national income is very important. In the previous lecture, we have studied the interrelation between the variables. It explains how variables are dependent upon each other. It explains how change in level of investment will finally change the level of national income, output, and employment, and finally the level of economic growth. So national income is very important for the investment purpose, for the savings, for the output or employment level, for everything. National income is very important, and this national income can be studied with the help of macroeconomics. So this was the third importance of macroeconomics. Let's move to the fourth one, that is economic development. Advanced studies in macroeconomics helps to understand the problems of developing countries such as poverty, inequalities of income and wealth, differences in standard of living of the people, etc. It suggests important steps to achieve economic development. See, this concept studies the causes of underdevelopment and poverty in poor countries, and it suggests the strategies for accelerating growth and development in them. This concept is very important because growth is not possible without development. Development is very important. Development means the infrastructure of the nation, the literacy rate of the nation, population of the nation, the employment rate of the nation, the human development index of the nation. These things are very important for the nation, and without development, growth is not possible. Standard of living of the people is very important. There should not be inequalities of income and wealth in the nation. Here government plays very important role in formulating the policies to eradicate the problems, the macroeconomic problems, and these policies can be formulated with the help of macroeconomics, because macroeconomics studies about these macro problems, these large problems, and therefore this economic development concept is very important in macroeconomics. I hope you have understood this point. Let's move to the fifth one, performance of an economy. Macroeconomics helps us to analyze the performance of an economy. National income estimates are used to measure the performance of an economy over time by comparing the production of goods and services in one period with that of the other period. National income. What is this national income? National income is the flow of goods and services which become available to a nation during the year. Or you can say national income is the aggregate money value of all final goods and services produced in a country during 1 year. Now the total economic performance of a nation is evaluated with the help of national income data. The basic purpose of national income accounting or calculating is to measure the aggregate output and income and provide a basis for the government to formulate their policy programs to maximize the national welfare of the people. So in short, you can say that performance of an economy depends upon the national income of that particular country. So this was the fifth one. Let's move to the next one, that is study of macroeconomic variables. We have studied this earlier also. To understand the working of the economy, study of macroeconomic variables are important. Main economic problems are related to the economic variables such as behavior of total income or total national income, national output, employment and general price level in the economy. Now same thing is repeated over here again. These are the macro variables, and all these variables are very important for the functioning of the economy or the working of the economy. So to understand the functioning or the working of the economy, we need to understand these variables. What is the role of these variables? How these variables work in the economic system? What could be the solutions for these macroeconomic problems? Problems like inflation, unemployment. So how we can solve the problems? So there are different strategies that can be formulated with the help of macroeconomics. Now finally we have level of employment. Macroeconomics helps to analyze the general level of employment and output in an economy. So the level of employment is very important for any nation, for any country. And this level of employment can be improved with the help of good growth of the economy, with the help of good planning of the nation, with the help of good GDP of the nation. And all these things, again, the same point, all these things can be studied with the help of macroeconomics. So if the level of employment is good in any country, then obviously the output or the production of goods and services in that country will be good. If output will be good, then the savings, the investment, the price level will be good eventually. So this whole analysis involves the study of number of variables and their interactions. All these variables and their interactions can be studied with the help of macroeconomics. So here we have finished all the importance of macroeconomics. How many importances are here? 7. What is the first one? Functioning of an economy. Second, economic fluctuations. Third, national income. Fourth, economic development. Fifth, performance of an economy. Sixth, study of macroeconomic variables. And the seventh one, level of employment. I hope you have understood all the points of importance of macroeconomics. Let's move ahead. So here, microeconomics and macroeconomics at a glance. Now here we are going to study the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics in short. So it will be kind of a revision of all the points of microeconomics and macroeconomics. So let's start with this. Now this point is very important, students, because one question of distinguish between will be asked from this lesson. And that could be anything like difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics, or the difference between slicing method and lumping method, or the difference between price theory and income theory. The points will be almost same. Let's start with the differences between micro and macroeconomics. So the first comparison is on the basis of meaning. Microeconomics. Microeconomics studies the behavior of individual unit of an economy. So we have studied this. Micro means small. So it studies the individual unit of an economy, like individual income, individual household, income of an individual firm, the prices of individual commodities, etc. On the other hand, macroeconomics studies the behavior of aggregates of the economy as a whole. So it studies the large variables. Macro means large. So it studies the behavior, but the behavior of aggregates or the total variables, large variables like national output, national income, total investment, total savings, etc. So this was the first point. Let's move to the next point. Tools under microeconomics: individual demand and individual supply. So these are the two very important tools under microeconomics, or the forces which are very important under microeconomics. What are the tools under macroeconomics? Aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Student, please understand the difference. Under micro, it's individual demand of individual commodity, supply of individual commodity. But on the other hand, under macroeconomics, demand of aggregate means demand of all the goods and services in the country, or the supply of all the goods and services in the country, that is aggregate supply. Let's move to the third point. So the third comparison is on the basis of scope. I hope you all remember the scope or the subject matter. So under microeconomics, demand, supply, product pricing, factor pricing, production consumption, economic welfare, etc. I hope you all remember these points, that on the basis of demand and supply we can determine the prices of the product, we can determine the prices of the factors of production, efficiency in production, efficiency in consumption, and economic welfare. Now on the other hand, macroeconomics, under macroeconomics, national income, general price level, employment, money, etc. So these are the subject matters which are studied by macroeconomics. Let's move ahead. Next point or the next comparison is on the basis of importance. Under microeconomics, or what are the importances of microeconomics? Price determination, model building, business decisions, etc. Now, importance of macroeconomics: economic fluctuations, study of national income, economic development, etc. Now, the differences on the basis of theory. Microeconomics uses price theory and macroeconomics uses income and employment theory. This point is very important for objectives. This point can be asked for the objectives in fill in the blanks or true or false, anything. And finally, the last one, examples. So what are the examples under microeconomics? Individual income, individual output, individual household, individual firms, prices of individual commodities, etc. What are the examples of macroeconomics? National income, national output, aggregate demand, aggregate supply, total investment, total savings, etc. So here we have finished the first chapter of economics, that is introduction to micro and macro economics. Students, in the next lecture we are going to start the second chapter, that is utility and its analysis. So in the next lecture we will study about utility, what is utility, and the features of utility. By the time, students, please study the first chapter of economics, that is introduction to micro and macroeconomics, the entire chapter. Before starting the second chapter, you should finish the first chapter. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Take care.